Hello guys, we're back. We're in another Joann's. I'm stepping up my gear today because I do have a mic on, but I really want to come to this new Joann's. It's about a 30-minute drive from my house, but their yarn selection is so much bigger. But yes, we're back doing another fall yarn recommendation haul. All right, first fall yarn recommendation is right behind me. I've talked about this yarn in my last video, but this Joann's has such a larger stock and more colorways. So this is the K&C, or Knit and Crochet. This is their cozy line. Now this is a really unique type of fiber just because it is like a single ply yarn as a number 6 super bulky yarn. But this colorway is absolutely stunning. Kind of reminds me of like sea glass, ocean blue. Very, very gorgeous though. Hopefully you guys are able to see there's some like greens in there, some pinks, some purples. Pretty much just reminds me of like mermaid colors. This is also comprised of 50% superwash wool and 50% premium acrylic. So even though this is essentially like a single ply type of yarn, it is extremely soft, and I think that this would be best made with some type of either beanie. This would be really gorgeous in a children's blanket or like a super chunky cardigan, kind of like this one. So again, here is this really gorgeous shade in the color Stormy. Here are some more standard It's Erin colors. I have this one kind of like in a sagey olive green. This is in the colorway Cove. And then this bright turquoise color is in the shade Lagoon. So really great fall options. Again, this has superwash wool, so it feels amazingly soft on the hands. I will note that though with the single ply, this is probably going to fall apart in the washer, so you're definitely going to want to hand wash this type of fiber. But I think these would be so gorgeous as like a beanie. I'm really tempted to even get this shade. But here, let's give you guys a quick little finger swatch. This is what one strand of that yarn looks like. Extremely bulky, but I'm already a huge fan of this and I haven't even used it yet. So definitely want to recommend this for the fall months. Such gorgeous colors. I also came across this other shade in the colorway Dusk. And it's coming up super bright here on camera, but it's definitely screaming fall. Definitely kind of seems like a pumpkin pie type of shade. But what I like about this line in particular is that it's not completely tonal. There are definitely little washes of darker colors, lighter colors, all kind of spun into this one single strand. But I saw on the website that there is a new line of yarn at this Joann's, and I'm struggling to find it. But I really wanted to see the colors and try to recommend something to you guys. So let me hunt around for a moment and see if I can find her. Holy grail, I found the yarn that I'm looking for. Ooh. All right, this is the new yarn that I saw on the Joann's app. This is actually by Lion Brand. This is their Scarfy Light yarn. So this is what she looks like. I've never used the standard Scarfy yarn before, but I know that this is like a lighter weight of yarn, and these colorways are to die for. So let's go ahead and give you guys some logistics, but first and foremost, this is in the colorway Sunset. This is actually comprised of 43% acrylic, polyester, nylon, and wool. So it has a really interesting blend of fibers, kind of like a kitchenette style fiber. But let's go ahead and pull you guys up a single strand to show you guys what I'm talking about. Now, although this doesn't have any mohair in there, this really interesting blend, it does kind of give it a fuzzy mohair effect. It's really gorgeous. So I think that this is actually labeled as a number 4 medium weight yarn, but with that little bit of fuzz, it might work up a little bit thicker. I'm not too sure yet because I haven't used this yet. But again, for having such an interesting blend of fibers mixed in, this stuff feels extremely soft. I posted this over on my Instagram stories, and some of you guys were concerned that this might be a little bit scruffy. Definitely not. It doesn't even feel like it has wool in it. Kind of almost feels like a polyester acrylic blend, but like I said, there is nylon and wool in there, so I'm hoping that the nylon gives it a little bit of stretch, a little bit more durability. But let's just go ahead and show you guys the colorways. So again, this is in the color Sunset, kind of like a really vibrant rainbow, pastel rainbow collage of colors. This next shade is in the colorway Foliage. Has a little bit of like earthy tones with some pink and orange mixed in there. Another really gorgeous, gorgeous colorway. You guys can really see though all of that fuzz coming off of it. Such a unique blend of fibers, but it looks like deep down this is a chainette style construction. It might even have like some blown fibers throughout there. Again, I'm not 100% sure, but this stuff really does feel like butter. So again, this is Foliage. Another really gorgeous colorway is this shade in Tartan. People are watching me, but here's this really interesting shade as well. A little bit lighter, a little bit more pastel shades with some navy blue, pink, orange, earth tones again. These are somewhat similar, but they do have their differences. I had to relocate because there are so many people in this Joann's, but I pulled out some other colors to show to you guys. So this next one is in the shade Cascade. Really gorgeous, just kind of like sky blue, baby blue shades, again with multi-tonal shades mixed in there. This is a really nice, just kind of like overall baby blue option. On top of that, something else that really caught my eye is again the Scarfy Light, but this is in the shade Sepia. Now this is a really interesting kind of like rosy, orangey pastel mixture, but it's very feminine. I think this would make a very gorgeous dress, maybe even like a flowy poncho or a top. On top of that, moving on, there are a ton of colors. There's also this shade in Tiger Lily. Now this has more of like a cool toned theme. You've got lavenders, deep green, a little bit of like peachy orange mixed in there, but it does have like an overall cool toned shade with little tiny pops of color. But another shade that I'm dying over is in the colorway Palm. Now again, a little bit of a mixture of warm and cool tone shades. We've got greens, blues, orange, and of course the base white shade. All right, the last few shades to show off to you guys. Let's go ahead and start with one of my other favorites. This is in the colorway Sea Glass, and that is named rightfully so. Pretty much very similar to the Sunset, but these are extremely washed out in pastel. So you pretty much have an entire barrage of just rainbow colors. But let's go ahead and move on to, this is Twilight. Again, back to like a cool toned colorway. We've got browns, darker blue, and a little hint of like lavender purple in there. So definitely more of like an earthy toned shade. But guys, this yarn is absolutely stunning. There are so many items I feel like I could make with this yarn. The last two I have to show you guys. This is in the colorway Rain. Now, a little bit less pastel, and it packs just a little bit more of a punch. Very, very gorgeous, cool toned colors. But that blue is extremely vibrant. And then last but not least, I actually picked up this yarn yesterday, and this is in the shade Earl Grey. Everybody's been making shruggies and like boleros, and I felt like I really wanted to test this yarn out with like a long sleeve bolero type of top. So again, this is like the perfect earth tone shade. Browns, mustard, black, gray, and of course white. But a really great neutral option in case you guys aren't into all of that pastel and rainbow. So I'm probably gonna end up leaving with a couple skeins of that super gorgeous Sunset, but let's go ahead, shop around, find a few more fall yarn options. I don't know what's new anymore, just because I haven't been to the store in weeks. All right, so the next yarn option, it's definitely not new. I've seen this around in stores for several months, but I definitely wanted to give a recommendation here on my channel. This is the Lion Brand Sustainable line. This is their re-spun thick and quick, and the really great thing about this line of fibers is that it's 100% recycled fibers. So like the name suggests, it's recycled polyester. And normally when polyester is recycled, it actually has kind of like an itchy, rough feeling, very similar to wool. But I will note that with this Lion Brand recycled polyester, It feels pretty darn good. Definitely not like a standard polyester, but it kind of feels like a blend of polyester and acrylic. So it is pretty touchably soft. And the really great thing about the Respun line is that they carry it in multiple weights of yarn. So this really hefty bundle, this is in the weight number 6 super bulky. Now, on my first glance, I don't think I would label this as a number 6 super bulky. This is definitely more like a number 5 chunky. But again, depending on how you work with it, this could be a little bit thicker. But as you see, as I kind of compress it and work with this, it does thin out just a little bit. But again, this huge skein, I believe you're getting 230 yards for $10, and this is a recycled fiber. So for all of my sustainable stitchers out there, definitely a really great recommendation. You're picking out yarn that's not really going to affect the environment. So Respun Thick and Quick. Let's go ahead and shift gears a little bit to their lighter weight yarn. This again is the Respun 100% recycled polyester yarn, but this weight I believe is in the number 4 medium weight yarn. So this is what she looks like, and again, this is for me a little bit too lightweight for a number 4. As you can see, as I kind of compress it and roll it, if I were to knit or crochet with this, I personally would classify this more as a DK or number 3 lightweight yarn. But again, every brand kind of labels their stuff differently. But what's really interesting also with the Respun line is, for the most part, all the shades look very heathered and like marled. There's not too many shades that actually pack a punch. So it definitely has more of like a fall cool toned theme. For example, this is another colorway from the Respun number 4 worsted weight line. And up close, there is definitely like a marled or heathered effect to it. So it's not super, super pungent. Again, this is the Thick and Quick. This is the number 6 super bulky yarn. But again, very like muted, washed out colors, which for me is definitely more like the fall vibe, the fall theme. For this more worsted weight yarn, you're getting 660 yards of in this one skein, and this bad boy is only $9. And we all know that Joann's has sales and coupons all the time, usually 20% off or 25% off. So you could literally get 660 yards of yarn for probably about $6, which is absolutely insane. So I definitely wanted to give the little Lion Brand Thick and Quick section a shout out for the fall months. Again, it's all recycled fiber. Doesn't really get better than that. All right, so my camera actually just died, so we're switching over to the iPhone. But a fun yarn that I've had my eye on for quite a while, I've just never used it, but this is very eye-catching to me. This is the Bernat Symphony yarn. Now this is a really interesting, like, roving, multicolored type of yarn, and as you guys can see here on the pamphlet, it does create self-striping moments, but I like that the stripes are not consistent. They're very irregular, so you might have a thicker section and a thinner type of stripe. But some logistics are that this is a number 5 bulky weight yarn. So this is in the shade Pebbles. Very interesting, cool toned, deep burgundy colorway. But what caught my eye so many months ago, oh my gosh, the colors are stunning. So this one right here is in the colorway Royal, and this is what she looks like. We've got mustard, yellow, purples, again a little bit more of a cool toned yarn. But I love that these pamphlets kind of include a little snapshot of what it's going to work up into. So as you can see, some stripes are thicker than others, but this is a really interesting type of fiber. On top of that, this is 80% acrylic and 20% wool. So yeah, this is kind of comparable to the Lion Brand Wool Ease yarn, but because this has more of a twisted ply instead of the Lion Brand, which kind of has like a crumple to it, this is so much softer than the Lion Brand yarn. So this is also in the shadeway Autumn Maple, and I thought that this was just so perfect for fall. You can make so many things out of this. Again, like the other pamphlet shows, you guys could make a blanket, scarves, beanies, even mittens. But I think, oh my gosh, even this colorway right here, This is in the color Sea Spray, and it's just so stunning. I love that some sections with this yarn start off with like a tonal or completely solid shade, and then as it kind of roves and works, you do get like a mixed coloration throughout your fiber. So that is really interesting. I like that this is like just so many different facets and like colors to this one style of yarn. All right, last few fall yarn recommendations for you guys. I came across this yesterday and I really wanted to show it off to you because it seems very interesting. So this is the Big Twist winter line, and right off the bat it feels very creamy. I love that Big Twist is pretty much known to me as being a very sumptuous, very touchably soft type of fiber. Interestingly enough, this is made of 50% premium acrylic and 50% wool. So again, that premium acrylic is probably what's giving it just that really yummy touch. But what I like about this line is that for once, Big Twist has included a little swatch of what it looks like worked up, which is extremely helpful. But of course, keep in mind that this is like a knit swatch. So if you're crocheting with it, it's not gonna look quite the same. But these are definitely more like winter Christmas type of colorways. Again, going along with the Christmas theme, they literally have like a candy cane looking option. This is in white, red, green. How original. And then this one right here is in gray, green, white, red. What a name. That's so nice. But so I think you're only getting about 60 yards with this one tiny little ball. So if you guys are gonna make a scarf or a beanie or some mittens, you're definitely gonna need to pick up a lot of these, but it's not too bad. Again, number 6, super bulky. This is definitely more classified as a number 6, so they definitely got that one right on the head. All right, the last few I just wanted to show you guys from the Big Twist line. They do also have the winter, this is like winter glow or winter shine. So there is a really gorgeous like metallic threading that runs throughout the fiber itself, and I feel like that's going to add a nice little touch to whatever project that you're working on. I think I would definitely grab this like sparkle one over the actual Christmas colorways, but that's just a personal preference. Again, with this one, it is 98% premium acrylic and 2% metallic fiber. So a little bit different from their other one. Their other winter collection is actually like 50-50. I feel like this is a really gorgeous gradation of color, especially if you guys wanted to knit something with this. Those are just a few more fall yarn options for you guys.